Hello YouTube here, it's Lisa Stade of the YouTube channels of Lisa Stade and Hitler Obsessed, continuing off where we left off on the Life and Death of Adolf Hitler lecture series and the Holocaust mini-series. There are two series smashed into one, because I don't have the wanting to make a whole different series, and it's kind of similar, with Hitler and the Nazis, they kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of like with the Holocaust, it doesn't get its own series, I know. So that's just how it's going to roll with that. Okay, so on to the part where we left off. Now, eventually, again, like in Operation Barbarossa, Stalin would end up having pretty much send onslaughts of just Russian forces, and yes, they eventually get rid of Hitler. I mean, Hitler being as stubborn as he was, and his generals telling him, let's turn back and come back again, and we can still fight. Next time, we'll just come back, take a break. Knowing Hitler is like, no, we're here. We are fighting to the last man, and it doesn't matter. Eventually, his generals had to start surrendering. One of these guys, actually, I think it was Beck or whatever. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Forgot his name. Which one it was. But it was a general that he promoted to field marshal, thinking, well, that will boost everyone's spirit. Eventually the guy just quickly says, by the way, we're surrendering. The whole 6th Army is surrounded and doomed, and we're going to surrender off to the Russians. And Hitler, knowing Hitler would be pissed because that didn't go as planned. And then also, Rudolf Hess would try to make what he claimed was a last-ditch effort to save Germany, because his astrologer told him to, I guess. Now, he's not into the occult and mysticism and divination and astrology. He's the kind of guy that, if you're this sign and I was this sign, we weren't compatible, we couldn't be together, so you get it. Any woman that's into that. But he would take a Messerschmitt plane down to Great Britain and crash it during, the Battle of the Blitz, the Battle of Britain and London, and would be captured and held in prison. But Rudolf Hess's idea, this was Hitler's deputy, that we replaced by Martin Bormann, who was very power-hungry also. A lot of Nazi leaders also very power-hungry below Hitler. They were always competing for Hitler's favor. Rudolf Hess believes that, if he went to Britain, he could get peace treaties, and Hitler would be happy, and Hitler wouldn't be mad at Hess for this one. Nope. Hitler was fuming mad because when he realized that Hess would leave him, and he would get the notice, some of his secretary and people around him would say, Hitler screamed like an animal. He was pissed. He was angry as all get out at what Hess did, because to him, that was, you went off to the enemy, you betrayed him. But back to what I was saying about Eastern Europe in Russia. Hitler was also trying to go off to Eastern Europe because he wanted oil. Now, everyone knows that the Germans would have still lost. And a lot of people like to say, well, Hitler never listened to his generals. His generals also never listened to Hitler. There's YouTubers that do military channels that we'll talk about. Well, it was kind of a two-way street, and when you look into this, it was really a two-way street. It was, Hitler had some good campaign ideas, the generals had good ones, sometimes they conflicted. that be life, that be relationships and coordinating and dealing with people. That's just called reality. Doesn't matter who you are. Your two friends on two or three friends at your school playground or in college or work, or your Hitler and his generals. It's just how life is. But Hitler's plan was because Germany was losing oil and the economy. So he needed the oil and he wanted to go to the Caucasus, and this is the reason why Germany split off to not only attack Stalingrad, because that was the enemy of his, and Leningrad there to attack, and the Caucasus Mountains, so Hitler could get oil and also destroy a city or cities with his enemy's name on it. That he ended up making a non-negotiation pact with them, non-aggression pact though, with the Soviet Union, with Stalin. But some of these, I'm going to get into some of the Holocaust there again. For instance, in Eastern Europe, especially in Czechoslovakia after Reinhard Heydrich's death, who was, the hangman of Prague, what Hitler considered was the ideal Aryan master race military commander of the SS. What Hitler viewed Reinhard Heydrich was the man with the iron heart. He thought that every Nazi should strive to be like this. Terrible guy. Horrible. Who ended up also getting killed by resistance members of the Czechoslovakia's resistance members. Now, the Nazis being the Nazis, and how does this history go? Well, if you kill one of the guys, or a diplomat or whatever of the party, they do not take it well, and they go on a mass murdering, killing rampage that's much worse than what they're doing when you don't kill one of those people. And that would be what they would do. This is what they would end up doing by liquidating the whole Warsaw Ghetto that would be in Poland, that the Jewish people under the Nazis would be rounded off and sent to. They would fight house to house, street to street, down in the sewers against Nazis. There would be resistance groups. There would be the Warsaw Uprising. That the Nazis would have completely crushed in the ghetto and pretty much destroyed, everyone rounded off. This was, Adolf Eichmann's territory. So this that guy I was telling you about before. And yes, Hitler would also have places like Lodz or whatever, that would be destroyed and burnt down. There would be places in France that you'd have resistance members and be found out, and the Nazis would just come over and have everyone rounded up, killed off, humiliated. Complete sadism. And just unleash hell and just round everyone up, in a place like a church or whatever, and burn it to the ground. I was thinking of what's the name of that town? I just watched Come and See, for Pete's sakes. Forgot the name, but it's the actual military battalion, and they were supposed to be one of the worst Nazi battalions in the Third Reich, and the Waffen-SS were part of the Einstein-Gruppen. Well, even the Einstein-Gruppen actually hated these guys, and the Waffen-SS, everybody hated this battalion. Even the Nazis hated it, because it was under Klaus Barbie, one of the worst Nazi war criminals that be captured later on after the war. And this battalion was made up of criminals, rapists, sadists, masochists. This is the worst. It's people that the Nazis didn't want but were willing to use against the Slavic people. That's the battalion. Now, Tick History brings up in this movie of his review, if it's actually even accurate, and God forbid, if I'm going to do a decent movie review and go into the history, I'm going to have to do research. So that's a future video of a lot of research. Yay. Hopefully I'll do that when I'm off at university. But again, these kind of people would turn up again, especially in Eastern Europe, If you found out to be a part of the resistance, they would round you up, lock you in a building, burn it to the ground, unleash sadistic, masochistic hell on you, and that's what they will enjoy. And this is because their ideology was they would demean you to the point you were in survival of the fittest mode. Because they believed the Slavics were inferior, especially Jewish people. And didn't matter if you were man, woman, child. If you were caught in the resistance, they killed the whole lot of you, if they found out where it came from. A lot of people died very loyal to the fighting for their countries against these guys. So there was a lot of good things the resistance did against these people. Some of these guys were also communists, but again, they were fighting for their country. It probably didn't matter what political party. If these people were turning up and killing your people, I wouldn't be surprised if they were communists or whatever, as long as they just want to get these guys out of power and off the face of the earth. And this kind of stuff would get a lot worse in places like Belarus. They'd have the Khaitan massacre, and there's a debate of if it's the Russians or the Germans and Nazis that chased off a bunch of people and let them drown in the bogs. There's a scene in Come and See that is of the two characters of Florida and Gloucester there running into a bog, after escaping the village and to find their family members, or guess what is eventually village members and resistance members that went off and hid at some island. This is kind of reference to that massacre. Same thing with the village of Petroyska. That's the name of the village I think of. Petroyska, Petrovia, whatever. Something. Just go watch the movie, you'll see. That's even a reference to even not just the Nazi similar actions in these villages or anywhere resistance was, but the Lloyd's massacre in was it Czechoslovakia or Poland or whatever there. That's one of the biggest references. That's who Klaus Barbie would one of his crimes he'd be connected to there. Which is interesting because, speaking of a little bit known fact, and Klaus Barbie actually had a pet cat somehow. Versus that one villain there on the end of Come and See it, but just the marsupial primate. So, what's up with that, Come and See? Great Soviet film. But I'm gonna sign off here on to pretty much tell about continuing on to I guess next video of this series, telling you to like these videos, become a subscriber to my YouTube channel if Lisa stayed, and hit Little Obsessed. You can hit the notification bell, set it to all, so you can see all new videos and be notified about all new videos. Leave a comment. I want to hear your feedback on these. Definitely share these videos would be good. Good to have education be brought freely to people. Definitely go to my Patreon and my Subscribe stall and donate to my Patreon and my Subscribe stall. You can go to my Twitter account, leave me a comment there. Go to my BitChute channel at bitchute.com. That's Lisa Marie State. Please stay on that channel. There's a lot of channels that are not good down there, but my channel is good. It's an educational, positive, correct channel. It's authentic. Accredited. J-Store even calls me about it. No, not really. That's a joke, though. I'm going to my TikTok account. That's Lisa Stade1. I can go to my Twitter account. Leave me a tweet there. I want to hear your feedback about these videos and anything else. Future suggestions. You can go to my Facebook account, Facebook Messenger. Lisa Stayed, leave me a friend request, leave me a comment, do both, leave some feedback. I love my feedback, I love useful suggestions, I like praise, I like everything, positive and goodness. You can definitely go to my Facebook group that has the most oddest name that some people have joked and said it looks like a group for retired Waffen SS members. Thinking it's called Hitler Interested History Buffs. I'd prefer to be using that for the YouTube channel for subscribers. If you want to, great. Or any other things you want to talk about history or whatever, great. I want to hear your feedback. Okay? Bye now.